Clemens Homebrew coming at ya. Okay, it's beer time, beer o'clock here, and we've got a beer. Here it is. I'm gonna have to try to see if I can let you guys see this can well. This is the Day Tripper from Indeed Brewing out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So this is one that came to me from Rich's World Beer Tour. And I do love the can. Makes me think of like, maybe it's more of those drawings from early, like the Beatles cartoons and things. That's kind of fun. This is an American Pale Ale, and it follows that new trend, you know, American Pale Ales. It's a very hoppy beer. So there it is. It again is the Day Tripper. And beautiful can. It is 5.4% ABV and 45 IBUs. So indeed, this is a hoppy American Pale Ale. It's kind of interesting. This is supposedly it's made with American pale malts as well as some European malts. I assume lighter ones to keep it more of a light beer in style. And it has 4 hops in it. It has Willamette, Cascade, CTZ, and Summit. So they probably hopped it up. I think I read someplace, maybe on the can here, that they put something like 4 pounds of hops per barrel. Sure enough, here it is. It says 4 pounds of hops per barrel give this West Coast inspired pale ale a heady, dank, and citrus-laced aroma, all supported by a malt backbone complex enough to keep this beer from being a one-hop trick pony. All right, let's get this can popped open and give it a try. Well, those definitions of beers, man, sure pushing chains. Cause I'm going to tell you, I smelt the hops as soon as I popped this sucker open. And look at the color on this. This is very much that orange amber color that you would expect from an IPA, even a double IPA. It only bears a 1-finger head. It's nearly white. It's just off-white. And it's a nice, actually, fairly creamy looking head on there. I don't know if you can pick that up. And even tipping it side to side, I can already see it's going to leave a little bit of spotty lacing on it. So a really attractive beer for sure, particularly one at 5.4%. So cheers, let's get into this one. Let's get the nose. Wow, wow, it has some nice nose for a pale ale. I mean, I got tangerine like right away. Yeah, I get, wow, I get a little bit like a juicy orange, a little bit like an orange rind. Makes me think there's some sweetness on it, so it makes me think a little bit of almost like a marmalade, you know, those oranges that come out of Spain and make marmalades from them, but some nice tangerine on it as well. Wow, it's amazing. I got just a little bit of pine off of that as well. And I get some lemon off it. I also get some grapefruit off of it. It makes me think a little bit more of a, well, not the super sweet Texas pink grapefruits, but maybe a little more of a yellow grapefruit. Wow, what was that I just picked up? Something almost more tropical. Now I just got this real dank aroma off of it. Wow, that American Pale Ale, really? I mean, this thing is so aromatic, it's just blowing my mind. Yeah, there's a dankness, there's some earthiness to it, you know? A hint of like herbalness. Wow, that just smells amazing to me. All right, I'm torturing myself. Let's get into it. Cheers. Okay, so I guess that the definition now of an American Pale Ale is the body, right? Because it's a lighter malt. I mean, I get a hint of some caramel on it, but it really is. It's like a very light malt base, but there is just so much hop character on this. Wow, just really light on the palate, very light on the palate. Now, you would have to be a hophead to enjoy this. You would have to like IPAs to appreciate this beer, but I'm going to tell you, it's a good one. If there were any more hops on it, it would be absolutely too much for the base of this beer, because there is just a load of hop on it. And really, for what I think of an American Pale Ale, there is just too much bitterness and too much hop flavor and so forth. Really, I think for definition of the style, but as far as the taste, it really is very, very good. So in the taste, I definitely get citrus, but it's a lot lighter. I mean, well, it's a strong with some bitter side to the citrus. You know, I still get some of that grapefruit. I think I was right. It's more of a yellow grapefruit, and there's like grapefruit rind as well on that. And that's all because the hops, so that bitterness is picking up and you get that grapefruit rind. You only get a hint of the other stuff. There's just maybe a splash like tangerine and orange. You're getting more now in the taste of the lemon, I would say, and definitely the yellow grapefruit. In the malt, which is very light, I get the lightest hint of like some biscuit on that. I definitely get herbal fillings for sure. A little bit of spiciness, definitely some herbal qualities, some earthiness to it. But the herbal and the grapefruit type citrus flavors with the lemon are probably the stronger of the flavors coming through, because the body is so light on it that you're not getting a lot of the sweetness on it. The carbonation is a really fine carbonation that I'm really liking, and it starts drying out on the back side with that grapefruit bitterness, so it dries out on your tongue. Definitely leaves me needing another sip or grab a glass of water, one of the two. But the body on this is on the fuller side of light, I would say, or vice versa. But it's kind of in that range between light and medium. Yeah, it's funny. At points it feels super light, and at other points it pulls in towards the medium. You know, at the beginning it feels super light on the tongue, and then as you drink more, you get a little more thickness, a little more syrup, if you will. You know, not syrupy, but a little more body to it. It's fairly clean tasting, actually, with the exception that bitterness keeps building up on your mouth. Really very interesting. Okay, I'm going to take a moment with this, and we're going to come back with some ratings. Cheers. What a pleasant beer this is, truly. Been taking my time, enjoying it, and you know, there's not a lot I need to add to this beer. I pretty much described it all, I think, pretty completely. So let's just get on to ratings. American Pale Ale. All right. I think in terms of, if I'm going BJCP type guidelines, right, or style guides, I can't rate it that high. And that's primarily because it has way too much bitterness, way too hoppy. I would say that the malts are probably right on, but there's so much hop stuff going on. I just couldn't rate this as a high pale ale in those terms, okay, for style. So for style, I think, you know, unless we've modernized our style guidelines, I'd have to rate this low. I'd probably give it an 83. Now, that has no bearing on what I think about this beer. Because I think that this beer has a lot of quality. I mean, it is 5.4%. And so for someone that enjoys a lot of hop flavor, and by the way, I need to add a note. My wife took a sniff at it and says, you're right on some herbal, because there is hibiscus she was getting in that. So very good. There's just a lot going on. And so now you've got to say, in terms of just overall, well, for me anyway, this is a fairly complex beer for a pale ale. That's kind of shocking. So I'm going to jump this all the way up to a 90 for me personally. That puts it kind of right at the bottom of the excellent category. I think that it's a fabulous beer. I think there's just a lot going on. Personally, you know, on my overall, I love a little more caramel and a little more body under it. But wow, what a delightful beer indeed. There's just, if you like hops, man, you would just love this one. So here's what you're looking for, Indeed Brewing, and this is the Day Tripper. What an amazing little pale ale this is. I need to say thanks once again to Rich from Rich's World Beer Tours. Go check out his channel. Great gentleman. And this is Kevin from Clemens Homebrew saying, life's too short to drink cheap beer, and I will see you in the next beer review. You need to have one. Cheers.